Hello, welcome to day 15 of the Personal Corona Recovery Program. My name is Peter Mueller and I want to congratulate you that you made it through day 15. You are one of the 5% of the population who actually do something about the situation and trying to improve their quality of life. You made it, and today we are talking about, again, meditation. I believe it is one of the practices everybody should get involved with. But you know the spiel. First things first, checkpoint day 14. Did you watch all the videos 1 to 14? If not, go back, go to YouTube, type in Peter Mueller Reboot yourself and you find all the videos. You can watch them multiple times, no problem whatsoever. Did you identify from day 14 3 habits out of the 10 where you think this might bring something for me? I'm gonna do it. Pick the 3 habits, develop a plan. Did you do it? If not, do it. And last but not least, did you starting one new habit? If not, please do so before you continue with this video. Now, let's go to meditation a second time in our program. As we discussed before, everything in our life starts with a thought. I have brought you the sequence from the Talmud more than 2,000 years ago. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. What your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, and it will become your destiny. So it all starts with a thought. And for that, we have one thing between our ears. It is our brain. And our mind is our brain in action. And our brain has basically 3 major compartments to it. One is the conscious mind, where our conscious activities are working, where our logic sits, where our decision making sits, where our executive function sits. It's in the outside part, the outer neocortex of the brain. I call always it the frontal lobe, where the problem solving sits in your forehead. Then there is the second component, very important, which is the limbic system, or the midbrain, where our emotions reside, where the emotions are sitting, our feelings are sitting, and where memory formation is being done, and where also our values, beliefs act as filtering centers of all the incoming stimuli before it comes to decision making into our conscious mind, in our frontal lobe for decision making. And at the bottom of it, close to the connection to our spine, are the survival functions, where the breathing, the heart rate, the body temperature, and so forth are sitting. This roughly as a brief description of our brain. And as you know, our brain, when it is active, one of the ways measuring our brain activity, you know it, is the EEG, where we essentially measure the electromagnetic activity in our brain. And we know that for certain activities, we are activating certain parts of our brain, and so certain mental activities reside in certain parts of the brain, and they have different kind of electromagnetic signatures, basically electromagnetic fingerprints. And the EEG is simply measuring the overall activity, so it is not very specific. All right, now, when we talk about the brain, essentially, again, we talk about the conscious mind, the decision making, and the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is actually directing about 95% of our activities in our lives. And that's good so for the big part, because we don't, if we were to think about all the thousands of biochemical processes to regulate on how to do it, we literally would be dead tomorrow. So a lot of things have to go on autopilot, but not necessarily everything. And if we don't pay attention, a little bit too much goes into the autopilot. And our subconscious mind has those three key filters: the values, beliefs, and attitudes. And whatever is filtered here and has still enough signature strength, then our reticular activating system forwards it once it passes the threshold, and then we go to the decision making in our conscious mind. That's a general process we have to pay attention to. All right, as we discussed it before, 95% is in the autopilot. That means we get our stimuli, our body makes a kind of a story out of it, and if it sees, oh yeah, that's normal, and then we start doing certain reactive patterns in our physical actions, in the emotions, even certain answers to give. We give to certain questions in certain situations. They don't come actually to our conscious mind. We blabber essentially our standard answer to a particular question without looking at it. Secondly, very importantly, the autopilot is dealing with our emotions and feelings, and down you have the circle, very important. Emotions trigger actions, but we can do also the reverse. With our actions, we can consciously trigger emotions. And that's one of the techniques we talk later about it if we want to change our response patterns to certain situations. But now coming to meditation, why do we meditate and how it's going to be doing? Okay, number one, we talked about the electromagnetic activity in the brain. First of all, we have certain locations where we do things, but then our brain, depending on what we are doing, in what state we can measure actually certain brain waves. And the brain waves are measured in hertz, which means oscillations or waves per second. Okay, so one vibration per second is 1 hertz. And if we have 10 vibrations, 10 ups and downs, then in 1 second, then it is 10 hertz. So let's start at the highest frequency waves. Gamma waves, we don't know exactly what they do, but we do have a lot of gamma wave, brainwave activity, but this is not very solid scientific ground yet. Then we have the beta state from 12 to 38 hertz. This is our awake state where we operate on a day-to-day basis. Then we have the alpha state, which is between 8 and 12 hertz. I call it, this is our creative state, which is at the boundary of our conscious alert mind and the subconscious mind. Because when we go to the lower brain waves, to the theta waves from 3 to 8 hertz, and then to delta waves 0.3 to 3 hertz, then we come to the sleep state where our awareness, where our alertness is totally gone, but our brain continues to process the information from the day and puts it basically into our supercomputer called brain to prepare us for the next day. And the alpha state is a very critical one. I call it, it is our creative frequency, which blurs the boundary between the conscious brain patterns in total alertness in the beta wave, or then the lower, the theta, before we go into trance and before we go into sleep, where the subconscious pattern are operating. And here, very briefly, just for the understanding, I have horizontally the frequency, which means simply oscillating per time. So 1 second, 1 sine curve, 1 wave is 1 hertz, and then you see 3 and 5, as you can see here. And then you have a second component, the amplitude, the intensity of the wave. And actually, with meditation, one of the things we are doing two things. we are decreasing the amplitude, and overall, our overall brain vibration pattern, we systematically slow it down, going from the higher total alert frequencies to the 8 to 12 one in the alpha. If we can hold it there, that's very good. Or in TM meditation, for example, then we go to the theta waves, but we don't go completely down into sleep. But that's roughly what the brain waves are, how they work. And with meditation, we actually try to slow down the overall brainwave pattern, going out of the alertness into that trance, into that kind of middle state. We discussed it before, the benefits of meditation. The first thing is, and that's why we, at the beginning at least, we close our eyes and have minimum sound at it. I always give a little bit of background noise, but you can also go into a total isolated, noise isolated with headphones, noise cancelling ones, into total silence if you prefer to. By doing that, we reduce the number of stimuli the brain has actually to work with, and this allows already to slow down. On the left-hand side, I said the first thing we do, we reduce the compulsive thinking and simply slowing down and getting into a mental and physical relaxed mode. The benefits, we talked about it on the right-hand side. I don't have to repeat it. But one of the key things here I want to make, I say that synchronicity, harmony, and resonance are the underlying principles of the order of the universe. And in meditation, we essentially, that whole brainwave staccato we are bringing it down and allowing our brainwaves to become synchronous, as we have seen in that chart before, that you see everything, the waves, even if they have higher frequency, but they go in synchronicity with the biggest underlying waves. All right, now let's make a 5-minute meditation, simply focusing on the breathing. If thoughts are coming, we just let them pass. So I get the background noise a little louder and we come back in 5 to 7 minutes. Breathing. Yes, welcome back. So this was just another short introduction to meditation. I hope you will pick it up as we discussed it before. It helps us to mentally, physically relax. It leads to emotional balance. And when we have some experience with it, you will see you can branch out into different techniques for more advanced meditation. But for the first 3-5 months, actually breathing meditation is absolutely fine, is sufficient. It gives you tremendous benefits. It helps you to be emotionally balanced, and this has a carryover for the next days. I can assure you that. All right. So much about meditation and brain waves. In another video series, I will go much more into detail. Now, to wrap this up, day 15 is over, and here are a few things to remember. Number one, whenever you find an idea you think it might be useful, implement it in the first 24 hours. What you don't implement in the first 24 hours, if you don't try it out, you will never do it, basically. Number two, for establishing new habits and eliminating old ones, develop a pattern interrupt. Whether it's a hand gesture, a power move, where you say, yes, let's go, or whatever it is, a physical gesture, a word, whatever it is, to break old thinking and behavioral pattern, because this is always the starting point for new thinking, going into a new direction, establishing new habits. Because at the end of the day, that's the name of the game. We are reconditioning our thinking structure, our way of thinking, and the resulting behavioral and action patterns, and so leading to new results in our life. So, to continue with it, number one, select 3 habits again and do it. And finish the book 101 Lessons, What They Don't Teach You in Business, and Carpe Diem. Seize the day, every day. Stay focused, move forward. You can see me at any time on YouTube. You know the YouTube channel Peter Mueller. If you type in Peter Mueller, there are several, but when you go to Peter Mueller Reboot Yourself, you have one of the videos. You press on the subscribe button, and you are subscribed, and you are being notified whenever I have something new for you. So that's it for this time. I hope we don't have many more weeks to go. We are in the middle of the extended version of the kind of shutdown and social distancing. So stay home, stay safe, and practice social distancing. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Soon it's over. Stay focused and enjoy the ride. On that note, go to my YouTube. Soon there will be a new series with 5 to 7 minutes videos, ideas, concepts, pearls of wisdoms for life. It's gonna be 100 video clips. On that note, see you on YouTube. Bye.